This is Roland's brand new LX-9, and without a doubt, it's the most technologically advanced digital upright piano that money can buy right now. And for those already familiar with Roland's past models or their whole ecosystem of models, yes, in fact, there are some very meaningful differences and upgrades between this and the prior LX-708. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what those specific evolutions are, play the instrument, and let you know what I really thought of this Roland effort. Now, normally when I sit down to do these reviews, I'm either in a digital piano mode or an acoustic piano mode. And the two types of reviews often come out quite differently because, of course, with acoustic pianos, it's less about specs and features and it's more about the musical effect that the instrument has on you. And so I guess it's a compliment to Roland that in sitting in front of the LX-9, I really had trouble figuring out which mode I was gonna be in. Because for all of the insane technology that's driving this instrument, all I really wanted to do is sit here and play it. Here's what's different with the new LX series and specifically the LX-9. First, let's start with the keys. This is the grand hybrid action, so it's the same action in terms of the mechanics as you were going to find in the LX-708, but on the LX-9, this is now equipped with haptic key vibration, meaning that you now have a degree of control over the level of vibrational feedback you feel through the keys as you're playing the instrument. And for users where that's just not a wanted feedback system, you can just shut it off. Moving further back into the tone generation, the Piano Reality modeling engine is not just a renamed version of the pure acoustic engine that fueled the previous generation of instruments. It is still modeling, of course, so for people who are new to this space, modeling refers to a technology where essentially a computer is generating that tone out of a synthesis model versus calling upon any sort of sample or prior recorded pianos to generate the sound you hear. And of course, the theory goes is if the model is nuanced and complex enough, that not only is it going to be able to replicate a wider combination of harmonic intricacies, but that it opens up a whole world of editability where you can go in and really nuance and create a piano tone that is all of your own. So this new Piano Reality modeling maintains that. However, it is now outputting multi-channel audio instead of just stereo output. Not only that, but out of the tone generator is leaving digital signal versus analog signal. So the tone signal doesn't actually get converted to analog until the point that it is amplified at the speaker itself. Meaning that every effect, EQ, and any other DSP that is active within the audio chain remains completely digital right to the point where you hear it through the speaker. And that has definitely created a cleaner, higher fidelity tone out of the LX-9 than what the LX-708 was able to produce. Moving on to the speakers, not only has the type and quality of the speaker increased on the LX-9, but the configuration has also changed quite a bit. Probably most notably with the center channel speakers, which are now literally right behind the music desk, rather than being off to the side. The top lid is also playing a really active role in controlling the level of high-end detail and mechanical artifacts that are reaching your ear. And all told, the total amplification power coming out of this instrument exceeds 160 watts, meaning there is no such thing as a room too big for this to fill. Now moving to the control interface, which is probably the last major area of change. Gone are the buttons, and here is the buttonless touchscreen display. Now I'll close this up so you can actually see it with the overhead camera. Here it's in standard mode where you can see all of the buttons, although it is a touchscreen. And it's very easy to navigate through all of this, whether it be to the different tone categories or transport control, menu navigation, or any of your settings functions. With a quick double tap to the power button, it is now off, even though the instrument is very much still on. One more touch, and the control panel comes back to life. Beyond that, the instrument is equipped with a pretty standard set of other tones to play through, whether that be E-piano or organ or other strings, pads, a fairly standard complement of tones to pick from. But as was the case with the pure acoustic engineering, the real fun here is getting in and customizing the piano tone. And I'm going to share with you in this room right now the one that was working the best for me. I started by going back and forth through concert piano and stage piano, which I suspect is going to be something a lot of users do. Because in a larger space, sometimes it's a little harder to draw out detail, I was gravitating towards the stage piano just because it had a slightly more prominent upper end to the tone. From there, I brought the brilliance down, which is really just a system EQ. So I found that -4 for me was a really nice balance. I had an ambience, which is a reverb setting of 7. Ambience type was concert hall. And then within the piano tone edit, didn't touch anything with single note tuning or volume. Left the damper settings the same. Soundboard type, I found number 3 was the one that just gave me the right kind of response and character. Cabinet resonance was set to 5. Full string resonance at 4. Duplex scale I upped a little bit to 5, again just to give me a little bit more high-end detail. Hammer noise, played around with adding a little bit to that or not. Key off noise at 3, lid at 6. And this was the result. What I find that the LX-9 is giving me, which very few digital pianos have the capacity to give me, is a true layering of dynamics all at the same time. So you're used to being able to pick out layers of specific detail, of specific artifacts of tone, of attacks, and of various articulations. But usually all of the dynamic layers are completely blended together. But I have a feeling because we have multi-channel output and such intelligent placement of the speakers, I'm actually hearing very distinct layers of volume and nuance, even if it's the same tone, but just coming from different parts of the instrument. And that's really kind of a magical stew that you kind of get to stir with this instrument. I will play you the setting that I was enjoying the most on concert piano, just as a contrast to here. And I believe it was on 2 that I found was working really nicely for concert grand. All the other settings save to the patch. There we go. So more mellow hues and tones that come out through the concert piano. But really between just those two and the myriad of options you have to edit it, there really are limitless possibilities here. But I think anyone who gets on this instrument is going to want to get in there and do this. Not because the stock sounds are unsatisfying, but because the possibilities are so wide and it's fun. If you're a total audiophile and you love the tech part of this, like me, and you don't have a current instrument in this category, well, you've entered the market at a really pretty magical time. The technology that they're deploying on these machines at this point were just like totally unthinkable, or more, I guess, aptly put, unaffordable in an instrument like this if you went back 10 years ago. My gut reaction when I sat down is that I was treating it and playing it as though it were an acoustic piano. My impulse was not to get in there and start looking at settings. The impulse was to play. And I can't really think of a higher compliment to pay a digital piano than that. So thank you so much for joining us for this look at the LX-9. We hope you've enjoyed coming along for the ride, learning a little bit about its tech. And if it's the first time you've stopped by the channel, thank you so much for checking us out. We'd really appreciate if you considered hitting that subscription button, maybe give it a like, giving a share. It really helps us out on the channel. Plus, we'd love to see you back for more videos. Leave a comment, let us know what you thought, and we'll see you again soon. My name is Stu Harrison, this has been Merriam Pianos, and thank you so much for watching.